I'm Jordan McKenzie, and this is my best friend,
Bree Domino, and you're listening to The Shit They Don't Teach You in Real Estate School.
Episode 2. Cheers.
Episode
We're going to start
2.
every episode with a cheers.
You never drink after you clink.
Oh,
You
because
gotta
I'm too
drink.
excited. I want to talk
Gotta
to the
drink,
people.
bitch.
Okay.
Take a little sip.
So, think you're hot shit. You just got your real estate license. You just passed your test.
Yeah, well, you're about to learn real quick that this is not selling Sunset. This is not $1 million listing. This is like legit work. This is like hardcore shit. You're dealing with someone's biggest asset,
No,
all right?
You are.
This is a lot. And this is stuff that, you know, they don't teach you in real estate school.
Well, first, how you doing today, Bree?
I'm doing great. I'm honestly alive, thriving.
You say that every time. We know.
Okay. All right.
okay.
Well, how about this? Here's another one. Feeling like $1 million.
Ooh. Same. Whenever I get makeup done, I feel like don't ever do that. Don't do this thing. Okay. We're old. We're grown. We don't do shit like that. Okay. Okay. Anyways, well, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Let's get into this.
Bree.
Oh my God. Here she goes.
How many times? How many times did it take you to pass your real estate test in North Carolina?
It only took 3 times. Come on. That's like honestly great.
Okay.
The real estate exam in North Carolina it's really hard. And let me tell you, I passed my national the first time. I killed it. It was the state part that it took me 3 times. Let me just preface by I was working a full-time job every single time that I did that. So I killed it. I'm happy. Look, here I am.
Here you are. And so something else happened to you though when you passed your real estate, when you finally passed your real estate exam. What happened to you that day? Tell the people.
So I was doing my exam like at any time that I could because
you had a job.
Because I had a job. So I was doing my exam at like 4 a.m. Like I remember the testing center opens at 5 a.m. And my last time that I did the exam, I was at the testing center. It was torrential downpouring.
You had the worst luck with shit like
the
this.
worst luck ever.
I wish I could say this isn't normal, but
this is my life in a nutshell.
This is pretty normal.
Why is this my life? So I was on my way to the testing center. And like I said, there was a torrential downpour and a tree fell into the road. And I'm in my little coupe Beamer. All right. I think that I can drive over the fucking tree.
Oh my.
And so all of a sudden I hear something dragging on the floor and it's a tree underneath my car. So now I have to get out of the car and try to drag the tree from underneath my car. So I guess this is women with cars, right? I don't know. Is this normal?
I think it's
just me.
All
right. Yeah. So anyways, I get into the testing center. I take the exam. I'm so excited. I think I do so great. I get out of the exam center and there was a glitch in the system. Jordan, there was a freaking glitch.
No, I remember you doing
I have to get to work and there was a glitch in the system. And so the woman's like at the testing desk and she's like, I'm not sure what happened. Like, I don't see your exam anywhere. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Like, bro.
I'm like,
bro,
I just took this for hours. Like, where's my exam? So she's like calling California. That's what, 3 hours behind us? It's like 2:00 in the morning there because it's 5:00 in the morning here. No one's awake. No one can find my freaking test. I'm sitting there. It ended up being like 8:00 in the morning and they finally find my exam. Actually, this is not even the time that I passed. I failed by 1 point that time. Okay. The time that I passed, I was so excited. I finally got out of my test.
That's when you hit the car, or that's when you hit the tree.
I drove over a curb. I was like trying to get home so I can show everyone that I passed my exam, and I drove over a curb and like it really fucked up my bumper, but it's fine.
Should be driving.
I passed and I was like, it's fine. I'm gonna get a new car.
Well, yeah,
I'm gonna be rich as fuck.
That was okay. Okay, you still got that Beamer, don't you?
You can still see the little dent.
The Beamer is nice.
Oh my God, I love my Beamer.
It has red interior. I used to be so jealous. She'd do videos in her car and be like, yeah, like
I love that car.
And I was like, oh my God, the red interior. She's popping. She is.
It's honestly beautiful.
Life.
I got it. Obviously, I got it.
It's not that. I just laughed because you were like, I'm gonna be rich as fuck, buy a new car. I'm like, bitch, you still got that same Beamer. She's sitting out there. We literally rode in her over here.
Yeah, no, I love her.
You almost got a wreck when you drove over here.
I did.
Well, that was a wild ride for you.
Yeah. How about your exam? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well,
you killed it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
well,
you killed it.
I studied I didn't have that much going on like you did. You had a full-time job. Like
yeah.
It was during COVID and I was bartending in Nashville at the time. Me and my ex moved back to North Carolina because that's where his family lived. And so I was like, well, I'm not bartending up in this little small dinky ass town.
No.
I'm gonna get my real estate license because, you know, like I said in the previous podcast, my dad did real estate. I grew up with it. And forever I said I would never do it. But then I was like, you know what? Real estate sounds pretty darn good. So I took the class online. So thank you to COVID and Adderall. If you didn't take Adderall while you study for the real estate exam, RIP. Feel bad for you. Take Adderall.
It's tough.
Also, North Carolina, in Bree's defense, North Carolina is one of the hardest states, top 3 or top 5 states to pass your real estate license.
Mhm.
The actual state portion of the test, super hard to pass. So
I'm going to shout out real quick Travis Everett.
oh yeah.
I did not even take, I think you took him, right?
No, I didn't take him. I literally just took a random one because they weren't during COVID. It was all on Zoom. Remember?
It was all on Zoom. Yeah. But I didn't take his class either. But I had heard of him, and he was I swear, the only reason that I passed the state exam was I literally would just watch his videos as if I was in his class, and he was the only reason that I passed. So if you're about to take your, state or national, that is who you want to look up, Travis Everett on YouTube.
Yes.
He's your golden ticket right there.
And I did the same thing. Like once I did my class and then I was going to take my exam because you have your class test. I barely passed. I barely passed that.
Yeah.
Passed it by like 1 or 2 points. My teacher called me. I was like, I'm going to let you, you're good. So then I was like, there's no way I can pass my state exam with barely passing my class exam. So I found Travis Everett too. We talked about this back in the day. That's the only reason I passed.
The only reason.
The only freaking reason I passed my real estate. It was Travis. And he has Penn School of Real Estate, I think.
Yeah, Penn School of Real Estate.
But
we do post licensing. We did post licensing with him, and then he does CE. And actually, I think now he's like traveling all over doing different states and stuff. So
he teaches it where you don't memorize it, like you legitimately learn it.
Yeah.
And when I was in the test, I was hearing his voice.
Me too. No, literally me too.
Fuck, what did he say that one day? My Adderall's kicking in. I'm like,
he makes it like he doesn't even dumb it down because it's hard stuff, but he just figures out a way to teach it in such a good way that it just sticks in your head and it makes sense. So we say all of that to say, no matter how many times it takes, you need to be in the right headspace. You need to study. When you're doing that exam, you're going to stop everything else in your whole life and just focus on that for the next, whatever it was, 5 or 6 weeks. And you need to dig deep in that and just focus on that.
Like take the time, because if you don't take 4 to 5 weeks out to do it, it's going to extend into like a year, I swear.
Yeah.
Like I get DMs on Instagram all the time and like, how did you like pass it so quick? And people have lives. So I completely understand. Like people have kids and other jobs and husbands and all that. Luckily I didn't. So
don't get discouraged.
Don't get discouraged. Take the time out and like really focus on it, because once you're done with that shit,
you never have to do it again.
You're done.
You never have to do it again. So make sure you do your CE, please.
Do your CE. June 10th?
June 10th. And then pay your whatever it is, $45.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more dues than that. So don't get that twisted. But
yeah,
$45 every year. All right. So you just passed your exam. What's the next question that everyone asks? Now what? Now what do you do?
What the fuck do you do now? Well, the first thing you need to figure out is I think you'd have to figure out where you're going to hang your license.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't practice real estate without having your license in a brokerage.
You also want to figure out if you're going to go solo or if you're going to join a team. So those are the two biggest questions that you got to ask yourself right off the bat.
And I think that comes along with the solo or joining a team, which we're going to do a full podcast on that, because we think that is like super, super important when you're new. Because the thing is, you don't want to start off somewhere that's not a culture fit or that you don't get along with them or even learn bad habits, things like that. So I think really doing your research on the team or brokerage you want to be with is such a big first step as well.
Let's tell everyone, what are a couple great questions to ask when we're interviewing? First of all, don't just go to one team and try to figure out, is this the best one for me? You gotta
I hit myself in the head.
So you gotta go to multiple teams, you gotta go to multiple brokerages, and you gotta figure out which one is gonna be a good fit for you. And I think the best thing to do is not just to ask questions, but to actually say, hey, can I come into one of your guys' team meetings and really sit down and listen to what you guys do on a daily basis? Like, I think hands-on, that's the best thing that you could do, is to do that for a couple different teams and companies and see what's going to be the best fit.
I think that way you really you see the nitty gritty, you see their culture, you see how they do things, you see how their staff works and
their
how
trainings,
how they interact with each other. Like, are they joking around? Do we have Tommy Howard in the back cracking jokes?
Yep.
Or do we have everyone sitting like that ain't us?
Not fun.
That ain't us. That ain't me. That's not our personalities.
I think that's the one thing I love about our team. It's like,
we got some characters on there, man.
It's so fun, but we also get down to business. It's just such a good balance and it's never like, oh my God, I have to go to work today. It's like, oh my God, I get to do this. And like, this is my job, right?
No, for sure.
I think that's huge. What other questions?
I think also we touched on the fees, right?
Oh, honestly, not really. So, I mean, every brokerage is going to have different fees. So you want to go in, you want to figure out what the fee structure looks like. You're always going to have MLS fees, right? You're going to have which is your multiple listing service. You're going to have
for.
That's how you can actually see properties. So you have to pay that. You have to pay your RARR dues. That's for Raleigh, but your Raleigh Realtor Association dues. So there's a bunch of fees. So those are your, I guess, generic fees, and then every brokerage
Like
is
your personal fees. Like
Yep.
you have to pay really no matter if you're on a team or what. Those are like
Mhm.
you have to do them yourself, physically yourself, use all your information, your social, and get that done.
Exactly. But then each brokerage has their own set of fees as well. So you
Mhm.
want to figure out what those look like on a
Mhm.
monthly basis.
And also, I think what you get for those fees. And that goes along with, I think we'll obviously touch on when we talk about teams, but your splits.
Yep.
So that's a whole nother ordeal. But what they do to support their agents,
Mhm.
if you're on a team or just, just independent within a brokerage, what kind of trainings you're getting. I mean, just really what they're doing to help you move forward in your career. Because some teams are going to do and some brokerages are going to do more than others. And I hate to say it, but it is what it is.
Mhm.
So if you don't pay attention and you don't do that research,
It's so crazy. I always use Tony as like my like I really watched him when he first got his license, and he joined a massive company. It was a huge big name company, right? He walked into the office
like a
thinking,
brick and mortar.
yeah, and he thought that it was going to be amazing, and he ended up being this little guppy in
Yep.
this big sea of people. And there
Happens all the
wasn't
time.
yeah, and there wasn't really anyone to help him, and he had a mentor that he was given. Basically, they told him, "You're going to pay this guy 25%." He did nothing. He honestly did nothing. Tony was honestly pissed. He got a big deal and he was like, "Now I got to give this guy 25%. Like he's not even helping me." Tony would be doing things and he'd be standing in the corner just observing. And so you want to make sure that you're getting into a place that, really supports their agents and is really hands-on and teaches you things. And if they are going to be a mentor and you are going to be paying them money, like what are they doing? Are they worth that fee that you're going to be giving them? I think those are important questions. After that, he went to a small
Like boutique brokerage?
boutique brokerage. Exactly. And it was like, I don't know, maybe 12 agents. And they were so lackadaisical is the word that I always say. They were all in their own world.
Lackadaisical.
Lackadaisical. They were just concerned about themselves and were doing what they need to do for them. But again, he was a brand new agent and he didn't know what he didn't know. And he thought because it was a smaller company, they were going to be so hands-on with him and they weren't. And then he found EXP. And that was, and this is not about anything like that, but he just found a place where he can go and really feel supported as an agent. And he came on here as an independent agent as well and had his best year, as an independent agent. So I think that says a lot. You just want to make sure you're supported and, given the tools that you need to succeed as a realtor.
Definitely. It's just so important because you don't want to start your career off on the wrong foot. And because you really will, mindset's a huge thing in real estate. And we'll touch on that later on too. But once you get in that funk,
oh my God,
it's hard as shit to get out of it.
You're
right?
crawling out.
You're crawling out. You pulled me, I think.
I know, poor Jordan. I mean, last year you had to get pulled out.
I did. I mean, and I had, and it wasn't like a month, 2 months. It was a few months. I mean, it was a couple of months, and I was in the way of myself.
She was in her own head, and I was like,
God.
Jordan, you know what you're doing. Like, you're so good at what you do. And it was she just had to tell herself every day, you know? And we'll get into a whole series on that too, and how we crawl out of these funks and how we get out of that. But the second that you had that mindset shift, your whole life changed.
Oh my God. It was
amazing.
Wild.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was life changing. Like my career is at such a different level than it was last year.
Yep.
Like I think I've sold more houses in the last few months of 2023 than I sold all year last year.
That's insane. All because of a shift in your mindset.
Yep. Literally a mindset shift. And obviously keeping
I'm so
up with
excited for you. I love that.
Thank you. But keeping up with the knowledge and the training, as well as getting your own mind right, doing things to make yourself be positive. Like get up and do your shit.
Yep.
Not
Listen
that
to a
hard.
podcast in the morning.
Like this
Have
one.
a daily schedule.
Like this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Here's
I forgot about us. I forgot we were doing this.
We just started. Okay. But I think, and going back to the questions to ask brokerages and teams and all that, and this is the first question. Everyone's like, where do you get your leads from? Leads are really important. Leads are important.
Let's be honest.
That's how you make your money. I mean, come on.
I don't know if you guys know this, but brokerages do not provide you leads. Do you know that? I don't think people know that.
Yeah, a regular brokerage won't unless there's some kind of system in place, I feel like. But I feel like most of the time, no.
Brokerages
They might give you opportunities like open houses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
They'll
give you that.
Lead opportunities, but not like, here's a lead, babe.
So there's brokerages and then there's teams within brokerages. And so again, that'll be a whole nother thing, but just do your due diligence and, take the time to
do your research.
Yep, exactly.
And I feel like this is another good thing to add on here.
Yeah.
When I was interviewing with our team, our operations manager, team leader, Mackenzie, she asked me this question and I'll never forget this question. She asked me, she goes, are you joining this team for the culture or for the leads? And I was like, damn. I was like, a little bit of both, honestly. But
Yeah.
but for me, it was like really the culture because, just growing up with my dad, seeing him in real estate, he was always independent. And I was just like, how do you go to this office and get motivated, Dad? Like, I want to be in an office where it's fun.
He was disciplined.
Oh, the discipline all the way. But
Mhm.
I mean, I am somewhat, but I need a little push. And so I knew that I feel like there's the team atmosphere. And I'm an extrovert. So are you. Like, we're
Mhm.
people persons.
People.
When I get around our team and we're talking and we're collaborating, like that's when we're all thriving.
Yeah, it lights a fire, right?
It really does. Heck
You
yeah.
you see that someone else is doing good. You want to know how they did what they did, and then you want to do that, and you want to do it better, and you want to come to the office and share your story, your
Mhm.
stories next week.
'Cause
So
we hype each other up.
yeah,
Um,
that's great, and the accountability with that as well. So there's a lot that goes into that. But all right, so now you figured out if you're going to go solo or if you're going to go on a team. First things first, we got to figure out honestly setting up your CRM, right?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Yeah. It's figuring out who you know, how many people you know, writing all of their information in your CRM, putting their phone numbers, email addresses, whatever you have.
Like call your mama.
Yeah.
Get the address book. Start sending some texts, or I mean calls, like just basically, like you said, people who like you, know you, and trust you. Those are going to be probably some of your first clients.
Your
They're going to give you that
network
chance.
is your net worth, baby.
Woo!
Woo!
I'm drinking.
That was a good
one.
one. Come on, that was great.
Mm.
Golden nugget right there.
Guys, we have a script, but it's not a script, okay?
Not a script, just little bullet points.
We're off the cuff. We're off the cuff kind of girls, and we don't need a script,
We
okay?
just need a little bullet points,
To keep us on track, because we'll be over here talking about some shit. Anyway, so there's so many ways to put yourself out there as a real estate agent. And number one in this day and time is 100% social freaking media.
We love social media.
And I'm not talking about just Instagram or just
No.
Facebook. I'm talking about TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, you want to be on the up and up. And I feel like if you don't already know this, listen up.
Yeah.
Don't be a secret agent.
Do not be a secret agent. A closed mouth is a closed business.
Ooh,
And I tell people that
hurt 'em.
all the time.
Don't sell yourself short. Like, even though you might be like embarrassed, like, oh, I don't want to be on social media. Like, shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Mhm.
Shut up. Because I've had other agents that I've tried to help before tell me, well, you're just like really good at social media. And I just like don't have that. And I'm like, do you know what I did? In
Yeah.
my first meeting with Tina, she was like, you got to get on video. And I
Mhm.
was like, no, ma'am. Why? I'm gonna post my pictures I just got done at this house, new construction house. I'm gonna put a good caption and people, they'll like me. She's like, no. She was like,
Mhm.
because, and not being any type of way, but she was like, the way you look is a different way than your personality is. Like,
Yeah.
you're down to earth, you talk shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You're chill.
yeah.
You're
and
chill, but
so-
you're fun, but you know what you're talking about. And
yeah. You
you're
can still be knowledgeable and do that,
if you post a picture, no one's gonna know who you are
Heck
behind that
no.
photo.
And who wants to work with someone, you know what I mean, like that? So, you know what I did? Didn't have any clients. I lived in Sanford.
Mhm.
And I went and found the cutest houses I possibly could,
Yep.
booked showing times, went in there, took my little phone with me and walked around the house. I was like, oh, these floors don't hurt them. Oh, I love this. This house is $350,000. You know what it did? Just started conversations about real estate
Yep.
on social media. And it just told people like, hey, Jordan, real estate,
Mhm.
right? That's the goal.
Well, that's exactly it. I feel like you just nailed it on the head. When people think of real estate, they have to associate your name with it.
Mhm.
And if they don't, if people hear your name or people, think of real estate and they're not associating your name with it, you failed. They have to know your name when they hear real estate. And it's so funny. I think we do this all the time. Anytime we like go out to eat or something, like we did it the other day. We
Oh,
were
God.
we were both in a little cafe and we were both working on our
Oh
deals.
my God. Our eyes. Oh God.
my
We were
God.
struggling that day. We were both sitting like this, calling our transactional coordinator, Deborah, like,
We were
Deborah,
like,
please help us.
help.
Calling our lender, like, Chris. Bree was on the phone with Chris. And I was like, wait, tell him to call me when you hang up. Like,
Mhm. He's like, oh my God, guys, I just got out the shower. I just woke up this morning and we're like, oh my God, we need help. Well, anyways, I had headphones and Jordan was on the phone and all of a sudden we hear
She was
someone
so funny.
we hear someone say real estate or that something about their house and both of us
We
just
go.
stop what we're doing and we go,
we're like,
and it was so funny and we just started cracking up because I mean, you got to eavesdrop a little bit, right? Like when you're at restaurants, I mean, the best place instead of like sitting at a little two-top table,
Mhm,
maybe
we
sit at the bar and just kind of, have conversations. I feel like that's like one of my favorite things to
oh,
do.
you're so good at that. I mean, when we were at, where are we at?
We were at Whiskey Kitchen.
Whiskey Kitchen. I made her try bowl peanuts. Okay.
Oh my God.
You are not
I don't know if everyone like understands boiled peanuts. That's
boil
what
peanuts.
boiled peanuts.
Okay, you are not from the South if you have not gotten in a fist fight with your little sister over bull peanuts. Me and my
No.
sister have literally fist fought over, Mom made those for me. That's my bag of bull
I love
peanuts,
that.
Maddie.
Yeah, I had never tried them. And Jordan was like, we're getting some.
Like,
and
we're
I
going
was
to this
like,
place, Whiskey
I'm like
Kitchen.
eating them with a fork.
The bitch ate it with a fork. I mean, I was like,
I was like, is this like a bean?
you're embarrassing me. But anyways, we were sitting at the bar and this couple was sitting beside us and they said something like they were in town. I think they were in town for a funeral.
They were
which
in
was really
town for a
sad.
funeral. Yep.
And then they said, they were talking to the bartender about how this is a great place to live. And we're like, yeah, it is. We're listening. I'm like, Bree, and Bree's like, you know what? I'm just going to go give my card.
Oh, yeah. Have cards on you always.
It's just
Hand those
organic.
cards out. I mean, it starts a conversation. You overheard what they're saying. It's not
Mhm.
like they're like having a little secret
No.
private conversation, you know,
It's
like they're at
normal.
the bar. So they're talking to the bartender and I'm just like, "Oh my god, where are you guys from? I'm so sorry to hear about your, you know, the funeral. Like they probably have a house to sell."
Oh, man.
Is that rude? I mean,
No.
it's true. I mean, is that fucked up? I mean, I'm here to help any way that I can. I mean, I'll be a shoulder to cry on too, but
But same thing with divorce. I mean, come on. Like it's we're still in a business of getting business. Okay. So, there's certain realtors that their bread and butter baby is divorces.
oh my god, yeah,
And they
have their
promote that
cards all at the
shamelessly.
divorce
They
attorneys.
promote that shit shamelessly.
Oh my god, yeah,
So
and they make a lot of freaking money.
a lot
I
of
mean,
money.
think about it. You're selling a house, then you're helping two people buy two different houses. That's
Mhm.
3 transactions in literally a month. So you got to find little niches and you got to just kill it.
And basically just once again posting on social media. A lot of things in real estate are timing. I think another thing is, so like we were talking about, be your authentic self and share your journey. And
Mhm.
even if you're brand new, who cares?
Who
I mean, when I
cares?
was brand new, like I said, I did the tours, but people thought I was busy. People would come up to me and be like,
Mhm.
"Oh my God, Jordan, you're just so busy with real estate." And I'm like,
Yep.
"Which I really have like one client, but it shows you're working and you're out there in the field and you're doing what you need to do and you're gaining that knowledge." So
You know what's funny too?
Yeah.
I think people don't really realize this, but when you're a real estate agent and you're hosting open houses,
mm-hmm.
people that are not real estate agents think that those are your listings.
Oh yeah,
And they're like, "Oh my god, like you're doing
that
so
house,
good. Like that
so
house is
big.
beautiful." And you're like, "Oh my god, I'm just hosting an open house." Like I pray someone's coming to the open house, but I mean, you're really doing things yes for you, you know, to get out there and put your name out there, but people that are not in real estate don't know
I mean, it's just
that those are not your things, you know?
I feel like it's just not a hard system to learn, but it's just different. If you've never bought or sold a house before, you get confused on who's on what side, and if
Mhm.
you're on a team, it's just confusing to people, which is the norm. But yeah, so make yourself look like you out there doing some
Mhm.
business.
Yeah, post a couple stories every day, you know. Give people tips and tricks, you know, go out and send mailers. Mailers are
Oh, hit on
still a
mailers,
thing.
hit on mailers.
Should,
That's how you
should
got your first 3 deals.
I was gonna say, should I tell them my little tip? Go into an apartment complex anywhere.
Mhm.
You go anywhere. You can pretend like you're searching for an apartment. You're gonna get a site map. You always get a site map when you go into an apartment. At
Mhm.
that point, you have the address
To
for the
everybody.
entire building. The entire building. And from there, you have the address. You're able to send them a postcard. I mean, no one can stop you from doing that. You pay, I think I sent one to, it was about 240 people. It cost me $300. And I was like, this is what you're paying in your rent. This is what you could be paying for your mortgage. And this
Mhm.
is what you would get in like the comparison. My first 3 deals were done that way. It's amazing. I think that's such a good little tip and trick.
Mailers.
Yeah. And you can't do it once and think that you're just going to succeed. Like, do it every
You got to
month.
farm.
You got to farm it. I mean, no matter what, people are moving from an apartment complex to a house or a town, whatever, at some point in time. So, again, if you're sending these things every single month, when it's time for someone to move, they're going to think of you
Mhm.
automatically. They might throw your cards away every single month, but eventually they're going to be like, "Oh my god, it's getting towards that time." You know?
Also putting the not how about the barcode, but the
Oh, you're right.
the QR code. Yeah, putting that on there where their information directly goes into basically you have
Genius.
to provide something of value that makes them want to even put their phone on that.
Mhm.
But then they'll give you their information for them to see X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
So maybe put a house that's right near the apartment complex that isn't over like some astronomical amount.
Yeah.
That would get them interested. Like, oh, if I'm paying this in rent, I can live a mile away and pay this in my mortgage.
Mhm. Or
Right?
even it could be something as simple as things
What to
that
do
are
on the
going
weekend.
on this weekend in downtown wherever. So we're in downtown Raleigh. Things that are going on in downtown Raleigh. Scan
Glenwood,
the
baby.
QR code. Jordan can give you all the deets.
You want to know about Glenwood? I got you.
But yeah, and then somehow it'll capture the information of whoever's scanning it, and you're literally, creating your
creating a CRM.
CRM, and it's fantastic. So again, a closed mouth is a closed business. You got to be active. You got to put your name out there. You got to, spread your business cards all over the place. Where were we? We were celebrating your birthday in Charleston, and I'm literally throwing my business cards out as if they're dollar bills.
She's like, make it rain with business cards. I'm like,
Heck
someone's
yeah.
gonna use you. It's
Heck yeah, they
fine.
are.
But yeah, definitely not being. I think main point takeaways from this episode is don't be a secret agent.
Don't be a
Don't
secret
be
agent.
scared. Like, don't be scared. When you start caring about what people think about you,
It's
and
over.
when your business is not going to succeed.
It's over.
Like, I don't care. I
I-
do not care.
But I think we both went through that for a little while.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where we were like, oh my God, even doing this, right? Like
Oh, we were
we've had this idea
scared.
for so long, and we were just like, what are people gonna say? What
Are
are
they gonna
people
listen
gonna
to us?
think?
Yeah.
And it's like, honestly, who cares? I don't care if you listen or if you don't. We're doing this for us.
No, we want you to listen,
Yeah,
subscribe,
we
and
want
subscribe
you to
and like.
listen, but I mean, we want you to listen and get something out of it. So, so yeah, you don't be a secret agent.
Put yourself out there, even in, like we said, you're out to dinner with your friend or your husband or whoever and your family, and put yourself out there, like, because that shows you're a real person. You're
Mhm.
you're at the same restaurant they're at. You might have some similar interests, might make a new friend.
Mhm.
Might make a new friend. So yeah, so I think just putting yourself out there, being your true authentic self, and not being scared what people think about you.
Yeah, don't be scared.
Okay. So cheers.
Cheers.
Good second
two.
episode.
Well, we love you guys. Episode 2. Let us know what you think. Send comments, send us DMs.
Send us questions.
Please send us questions. We want to know
We
questions.
want to talk.
Yeah. Chit chat with us. Send us a DM. Let us know what questions you have. And we're going to answer them for you. We love you guys.
Cheers. Bye.
All right. And that wraps up this episode of The Shit They Don't Teach You in Real Estate School.
Remember to like, follow us, subscribe. We're on YouTube, baby. If you have any questions, comments, hit us in the DMs.
We'll see you next week.
Woo!